All right, everybody, welcome back. I have a question to start us off today. On your list of priorities, business, family, household, all of the things, where do you fall on that list? Because on today's episode, we're going to dive into an extremely important mind, body, and business micro habit that will have you doing some of this internal reflection stuff of how much you prioritize yourself. And we're going to help you figure out how maybe to get the most important person in your life back on your priority list. So let's go. So I want to welcome you to the Entrepreneur Expansion Show. This is the first ever gamified show that helps entrepreneurs master their subconscious mind, body, and business and relationship with themselves, like we're talking about today, by implementing micro habits into their lives in a fun, supportive, action-oriented way to create more transformational impact and income. I'm your host, Matt Travis, the founder of The Potential You. And if you have ever listened to a podcast or watched a YouTube video and did absolutely nothing with what you learned, then you are in the right place because I'm looking to help you get more return on investment of your time today. And we have the absolute wonderful Courtney Peters on the show today. And she is an amazing life coach who also helps people live alcohol free, which I love the acronym of LAUGH. And I'm just so excited to dive into this episode today. In our pre-conversation, I just was like, uh-oh, we gotta kind of keep it condensed because I feel like we're kindred spirits and we could go we could get way off track and go down ADHD rabbit holes. But um so thank you so much for coming today, Courtney.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So when I first connected with you, I was thinking that the micro habit was going to be something around living alcohol free. And when
Yeah.
you said that this is what you wanted to talk about, I loved it. And I feel like there was it was almost um, a deeper concept that is also connected to that, which I think will come up in this whole process. But I would love for you to share just your story and like why you decided to become a coach that helps people live alcohol free, but why this micro habit as well.
Absolutely. So prior to being a coach, I was a teacher, actually. And that's another rabbit hole, but we won't go there.
Yeah.
But when I was in a training, I wish I could give him credit because I don't know who he was. I mean, this is back in the 90s, but he had us write on a list 3 to 5 people we take care of, plan for, think about. And as teachers, you're also giving to so many all the time. And the idea was then to look at your list, and he said, "Are you on your own list?" And no one
Yeah.
in the room put themselves on the list, right? It's just like you think of others. And so that's really what the foundation of my coaching is. That's how I try to live myself. And it really also just helps to avoid burnout. At the end of the day, that we know we did something for ourselves that feels authentic. I help people get rid of the guilt around it because it does, there's that sometimes wired in guilt that comes with giving ourselves something. And that something can look so different for everybody. So I'm really all about building like a self-care toolbox, really, that you could choose from various different things to help you put yourself on that list. So it could be something from, nervous system regulation things to many moments of joy, right? We are in the Massachusetts area, so it's like spring, winter every day here, but to get outside, to
For
get some
real.
sunlight, right? Like
Yeah.
that's, and recognizing what you talk about here is recognizing that habit as a positive one to reinforce things will just keep going in a positive way. So that's where that's where it started from. So when I'm in groups and talking about various things, my living alcohol-free journey, people are interested in that. The narrative is really changing around that right now. And it's an exciting time to be in this space and living it. And also I talk
Totally.
to a lot of parents, and it's really hard when you're doing all the things, the job, the parenting. I'm also a sandwich generation, so looking after, my thinking of my mom and then my own kids and all these people that I love and I care for, I always make sure I'm on my own list. And it's taken time to feel out which habits could serve me in that way. And I also feel like they're
Yeah.
seasonal, and that's okay. But as long as you're doing something for joy, something for your own goal setting, keeping yourself on that list. And I really, when I talk to people in groups, they're like, "Oh my God, I'd never thought of it." Like, not that but it was an aha moment for them. Like, right, I should be on my list. And it also is like that oxygen mask analogy on the airplane.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. Like, to fill our own cup, it's important to fill others and all that. And I call it keeping yourself on your own list.
Oh my goodness. It's so wild that you're sharing all this. I feel like we're very connected in so many ways. I was a teacher just like you. I destroyed my health and well-being running a
Mm,
fitness facility because I
mm,
wasn't on my own list. Because my one of my deeper pieces is growth and contribution. Those are two of my main emotional needs,
mm,
and I found that I found that out that I wasn't on my list based off of looking at my values, and
mm-hmm.
I looked at all my values and I realized that ironically my own self care wasn't high enough and I destroyed my health and well-being and I had this massive aha in a very low moment of my life where I said, you know what? I don't actually have a business and I don't have a family if I'm in a hospital or I'm dead, right?
Right.
And
Mm,
so that's when I had a massive shift of putting self-care and self above that, which oh my goodness, what you were saying about how that feels, it's a very uncomfortable feeling. I
100%.
felt I felt like I think the word selfish definitely comes
100%.
into my mind and
Yep.
I had to learn how to let go of that and learn to really go into this in a better way. And once I learned how to do that, when I closed my fitness facility and went online, the first program I launched was for working moms, and it was called the Oxygen Mask
Come
Accelerator.
on.
I swear,
Oh my
it's
God.
crazy, and that's why I was just like geeking out in my brain when
No.
you were sharing all this stuff. And it was really the whole program was that it was a combination of mindset and self-care habits and the way we eat and all of that stuff to help with mental, physical, and emotional weight release, as well
Hmm.
as gut health and hormone balancing and all of those things. So that's really where a lot of this journey started for me. And I just feel like we're kindred souls, and I was geeking out a little bit. So
Yeah. Well, me too. And I would add into that the alcohol piece because I think a lot of people feel that unwinding, and this is no judgment, but this is my story, and a lot of people I connect with on this, is that having a glass of wine or a drink at the end of the day was rewarding, was a
Mm,
way to relax, and was a method of self-care in those regards, right? Like, oh, I earned
totally,
that a long day, I'm just going to unwind. And so that is a tricky place.
totally.
So I really come from this space when someone is taking a break from alcohol or has um, been alcohol free for a while, but they don't really feel confident in it. And it's a hard world to live in without drinking. And so that's where I really love helping people too. And then actually I also have clients who have tried it before, came back to drinking and realized, no, thank you. And so I've had various people on their journey, but this is the big piece of it is like
Yeah,
how to do self-care, reward, relax, celebrate without the alcohol. And that's like the blend of my program.
I love it.
Yeah.
And the things that you just brought up there that I just want to kind of bullet point is like um, a lot of my clients, when we talk about, you know, taking time off from alcohol,
Hmm.
many of them have such a connection to the numbing
Yeah.
habit effect of like that end of it's almost like a case of the eye deserves it at
Uh-huh.
the end of the day, right? So
Right.
there's definitely some mental saboteur around it, and it's important, folks, to just there's no judgment in here. When you judge yourself, it just makes it worse. So
Yeah.
it's more about being curious and investigating like, why do I do this? And when I destroyed my gut health, I was kind of forced, I don't like using that language, but I felt forced into um, not drinking. And it was almost
Mm,
like, but I also knew it was the right move for me. And I just said to myself, you know what? I'm going to go a whole year without drinking and have the experiences and see what sticks for me. And for
mm-hmm,
me personally, I mean, pretty much all the experiences, there was plenty that were uncomfortable for sure. But one of the biggest ahas that I had was I got probably at least 52 days of the year back from not being either hungover
right.
or foggy or whatever. So I got to spend 52 more days with my kids and my wife and just being my best self. I know because I did a good long chunk without drinking at all, 5 years or so. And then I started to see like, do I want to, have it at
Mm-hmm,
certain times like weddings or, you know, gatherings and stuff like that. And I always at the end of it really feel truly connected to living the alcohol-free life. It's this shadow dance, right? So it's like
totally.
this whole thing back and forth. And I know that a lot of your clients and people that listen to this episode will resonate with both your and my stories where it's like they felt this way. And you just all
Mm-hmm,
need to know that you're not alone. Like this is a dance. And in 2025, it's really interesting. I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a shift into more of like the not only the acceptance of not drinking, right?
yep.
But it's almost like I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've noticed like people that it's like a badge or like a thing. Like this is how I live now, and like
Yeah.
this is a it's there's a whole other side. So I think the pendulum's swinging the other way.
Oh, it's absolutely swinging the other way. I'm part of a lot of communities and have talked to people through all my course training because so I was a coach first. I was a
Yeah.
health coach for a very small time. At the end of my health coaching training was life coaching, and I knew that was for me. I loved it. COVID hit. Um, and so then around 2022, 2022, July, I started my own alcohol-free complete 30-month experiment because the night before my sister from heaven gave me a nudge. So I tried
Mhm.
the moderations, the apps, I tried all that. And that's the stuff that cause what's the word is called cognitive dissonance, like the angel and the
Yeah,
devil, I say on the cartoons.
totally.
And I kept trying to fit it in. And I'm like, wait a minute. So if I did a whole 30, let's say, it was always going out to dinner the day that it was over and having a cocktail or wine.
Totally.
And so for this time, I wanted to have the 30-day break, the experiment, without planning that next drink. Rather, I started asking the right questions. I would say, would alcohol serve me? Why am I going to bring it back now? And so there is a lot of shame in this game, but that's changing. I always say there's
Yeah,
no more shame in the game. But I think for the individual, that's hard. That's the shadow stuff.
totally.
But that's where the pendulum is coming. It's more about health and wellness. It's about habit swapping. There's all these zero proof drinks out there now.
Yeah,
You see all these new products coming on the market. It's a real trend, and
totally.
it's here to stay. Like this isn't. I mean, we're just going to see it keep going and going. And for me, I did the same thing. So around 90 days, I committed to 1 year. And I just
Mm,
wanted all the questions off the table. Am I bringing it back? It's Christmas. It's this. It's always going to be something. So
yeah,
for me, I wanted the year off. And then halfway through that, I really pivoted to help people in my coaching program and my practice with this. So I'm like, there's a purpose bigger than myself. And then
yeah.
and then you find out the science, and it's hard kind of ignoring the science and
The
the health.
science is wild. The stuff that's coming out,
Yeah,
it's
so it's like
wild.
there's no way, and I don't want to. Yesterday, I just celebrated 1,000 days living alcohol free,
Let's go. I
which is
love
awesome,
this.
which we're
Yes,
calling it the Comma Club.
love it.
So that actually really feels like my flag in the sand. Like now,
Mm,
this is how I'm doing it. This is how I'm living. I always felt that confidence. I'd say the last couple of years actually, but now just like that to me was like my last to see that comma. I don't know. There's something about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the power of tracking I talk about on this podcast all the time. It's like tracking it and really seeing this. I mean, that's 3 years of dedication, which has become an identity, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not just transformation anymore. It's
Hmm.
identity, it's integration, it's becoming this person, which is a really powerful thing. And I love how you're creating just almost like an internal and external reward system with the Comic Club. I just think it's great.
Yeah.
It's what a lot of us need that shooting for. I mean, that's how I was saying before we jumped on this show. I've almost walked 7,000 steps every
Yeah.
day for 1,000 days, and I've just been leaning into that because it's exciting, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's a benchmark. It's just
Yeah.
you're working along. I know it's going to keep going after that, but um, it's we don't celebrate our wins enough, right?
Right. And that's the list, right? It's like, how do we celebrate our wins? How do we, when I coach around this and I talk about it quite often, and I've shared my story along the way, is, micro wins to big wins.
Yeah,
Like literally one of my clients just driving by a liquor store after work, pop in, get a bottle of wine. That was the routine. Go a different way, drive
yeah,
by it. All these things that are just patterns and habits, but they're heavy because they're involving a very hard habit to break, alcohol.
totally,
And so when we
totally.
have the plans, the toolkit, the rewards, the feeling good, the getting through it, and the resources, um, that's when this really starts to feel good. And that's why I named it for my own journey. I put the living first because I given alcohol planning a lot of time and I
Yeah,
didn't want alcohol free because there's a thing called AFL in the space, alcohol
got it.
free lifestyle. And
Yeah,
so I just flipped the script and I
I
became
love it.
living alcohol free. So it's not, the identity is not necessarily the alcohol free, it's living
Yeah.
without the alcohol. And how do we feel good
Mm,
and do that, right? Because I think the word choice is so
love that.
important here, and what words resonate with you. And right, like we think about self-care, and I think a lot of people feel like that's selfish.
Yeah,
And to say to ourselves, self-care is not selfish. It's actually really important.
totally.
These are the inner dialogues that I help through, my coaching, just talking with friends and family too. Just like it's important and it's okay to put yourself on your list and see how things are.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love all this. I can tell when I'm talking to a very seasoned coach, I can tell when they're very careful about their language patterns and all this stuff. And I'm like, I love it. Let's talk about this micro habit and actually how to apply it. So
Mm.
in like 90 seconds, like what are we actually having them go do? So of course they'll pick how many days they're going to do this thing, but what are they actually going to what is the application of this micro habit of putting yourself back on your own list?
Yeah, so I like to do it. One way for the broader audience, I would say, is look at how do you plan your week? So some people use a planner, some people use a calendar online, and then schedule yourself in those days.
Hmm.
So me time, Courtney time, and come up with a list that would serve you. So like your walks, I walk too,
Yeah,
time with my dog. Um, Media engagement, how often are we on, whatever it might be that might be popping up, like, oh, I think I would like to look at that habit. And
yeah,
then maybe you could look at it that way and just
love it.
say, so sometimes we say, so in the planner I'd say, um, something for joy, movement, health or something, and then
Great.
whatever feels good. I actually have a freebie on my website that has like a guide to this. I forgot about that, so that's on
Perfect.
my website.
We'll put it in the show notes. We'll put it. Yeah,
Yeah, so
we'll
that's
get that in
there.
there.
And it's a way of looking, or the mini moments, but I think for the actual micro habit, I would suggest scheduling it in and coming up with something, whether it's movement, um, nature, or for me right now, it's limited social media time, for example.
Love this. I love this, and it's funny. This is stuff I teach my clients as well when I'm helping them. They fill out something in my program called the Life Organizer, and uh, we call those mellow yellow times or purple
Mhm.
pleasing times, right? They're just like these times in their day when they're either doing something that's um, important for their body and their body health, or just like you time, right?
I love
Like
it. Perfect.
It's so key, and it's something that we want to see more of that if we look at it on our schedule.
Hmm.
Because what are we doing here anyways, folks? Like
Yeah, totally.
what is this entrepreneurship thing for if not to create more freedom and balance and li we sometimes we get too busy building a business, we forget to build our life, right?
Totally. And I think
So
when
I
we
love
look
this.
at that, we are showing up authentically,
Yeah.
right? Especially as coaches and one-on-one coaches. So if I'm coming to my client session, I know that I'm doing the same things and I
Yeah.
can talk with them about that. And I understand how busy we are. I mean, I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, I mean, the whole thing. Um, However, I always have things. So mine are just multiple, but my
Yeah.
family on my Google Calendar, when everyone lived at home, everyone had their own color and I made sure that I had mine,
Yeah.
right? Like whatever that meant or looked like, depending on the, right, the different, I love your color. I love those terms, but
Yeah.
to put it on there and then check it off when we do it, right? That's the
Totally.
reinforcement. And then we look over a course of a month. Wow, we really
It's
did a
so
lot for
cool when you
ourselves.
look at it in a big
Yeah.
scheme of thing. I call it streaking, right? And you just get to see it's not the naked streaking, it's the you're streaking and you're the streak actually because you get into it, you almost don't want to break it. That probably happened with you with the alcohol thing. It's like I've gone for so long that keeping this streak going is
Yes.
actually internally motivating to me, right?
Well, 100%, because actually I had a business coach a couple years ago and he helped me shed light on this because I think all good coaches have coaches. And I have
Absolutely.
my, so we were coaching through laugh and meaning how would I bring it to the world? Like what
Yeah.
were just, it was really good. And I said, well, I was pregnant twice and I didn't drink those times. And he said, well, those were, you were a mom and you're responsible. And I was
Yeah.
all about health. And of course, for me, it was an, of course, I want to drink. Um, and he said, this is intentional. And I
Totally.
said, there's the thing, right? It's intentional. And I was an intentional person.
Yeah.
And during my first break and then adding the days, that was the biggest key for me was extending, extending, extending with
Sure.
intention. And now there's no way that alcohol deserves to be in my life.
Yeah.
No judgment to people that drink. My husband still drinks, my friends do.
My
For
wife
me,
does too. Yeah, 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 yeah.
for me, it doesn't
Yeah,
serve me and it doesn't, I don't live, I doesn't feel authentic and I don't want it anymore.
totally. And I
But
think it's the difference between I can and I can't versus I do or I don't, right? It's not
mhm,
that you can't drink alcohol, it's just you choose not to. And that's
exactly.
there's
That's the
important
narrative.
language clarifications there. And I 100% am on the same point as you. Like there is zero judgment of people that drink. And I think that's the issue is like if people are not drinking, there's a lot of people that judge people that are, and
Oh
vice
yeah.
versa, right? And it's like,
Yep.
let go of all the judgment, folks, and let's just take on this habit. So, just so everybody's clear on what we're gonna go do after this
Yes.
episode today, you can either participate in the comments below in YouTube, or you can obviously join our community. And in the community or on YouTube, you can just type the word committed and of course, you're going to figure out how many days and how much time. This is important because there's you
Hmm.
get to decide what that looks like for you all, for you folks is like but selecting the days, right? If every day of the week feels too much, then you need to bring it down to 5 days or 3 days or whatever it is. But it's just always something versus all or nothing, y'all. And it's going into that feeling of okay, this is how much time I'm going to dedicate to this. This is what it is, and now you're on your list, which I love. And I'm a big fan of my phone and having it scheduled into my Google Calendar, and it reminds me, right?
Hmm.
Because that's helpful for me in my mind. So that's another part of this, folks. And then as you go through this, if you want to comment, come back and comment in the group or below this video, like what you're actually doing. Like, what are you doing for that time? Just so it can be kind of like a running record for people to see the different options and choices. Because, like you said, it's making a list for yourself of like things you could do. And sometimes people need to come up with this stuff. So I absolutely love, love, love all of this. I'm excited, y'all, to see you put this one on the habit stack. So if they were searching for you on the internet, where would they find you?
Oh, yes, my website, pmacoachcourtney.com.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah.
Awesome. And is there certain social media that you hang out in more than others?
Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram. My
Okay.
daughter's building me Pinterest.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and yep.
Awesome.
But yeah,
Awesome.
those
So
two
you
are my
can
main ones.
and we'll put those in the notes as well, y'all. And she'll be in the community. And I say this on every episode, folks. Courtney, I already know, I don't even have to ask you this, but like just like me, she just wants to help people. And
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of times you'll listen to a show or you listen to something and you don't feel like you can actually reach out and connect with these people. But we really would love to hear from you, or if you have questions, just send us a message and we'll get back to you. Because that's how we actually create transformational change in our lives is through community, through connection, and yeah, we're real people wanting to help
Totally.
you transform your lives. So please feel free to do that. And like always, folks, remember, keep showing up, taking action, and you will get results. Have an awesome day.